All the ugly people be quiet. But before we get this party started right.
Welcome to the show, guys. Vaughn Joseph here.
Hey, what up? They already know who it is.
No, they don't.
They already know who
Anyway, what up? Vaughn Joseph here. We'll try this again.
She'll be aka Mr. Valentine.
I'm Mr. Lorraine. Howdy, howdy.
I thought you said Audi. I was like, what?
Nah,
howdy.
How'd you do?
Howdy to you too.
Right on. So everybody doing all right? I got a little bit of a squeaky mic jack there. So let's just get right into it, as we often try to do. So I'm on Facebook today, actually, and there's this picture. You know, you put the little memes up or whatever, and this girl, I won't say who her name is because I tried to get her to call into the show. Still waiting for her to call. Still hasn't called because I think she's afraid to call. So yeah, so I'll tell you what happened. So there's this picture of you probably won't know this because you're English and you're sheltered and you're young. So in the United States, I'm just telling you. So in the United States, in the South, they call black people, not all black people, but the derogatory term to consider a white person is cracker. So I don't know if you've heard that before.
I've heard that before.
Yeah,
cracker. Right.
Before,
okay. So that's what that is. So there's a picture of a woman in the supermarket, and she's got a cracker in her hands, a white lady, and it says "Crackers love cheese" or something like that. Right. You know, so it's funny
basic,
if you think about it in that context, only because I just told you. If you had to just walk past this sign, you would have never even thought you'd have liked it. They'd be like, yeah, I want some cheese.
It was one of
crackers.
those memes, one of those internet memes.
They made it into a meme.
Right, okay.
This is an actual sign in the supermarket.
Right.
So
Okay.
this is an actual sign in the supermarket, but they're taking this because of
and now it's a meme. Okay, right. On the
right.
internet.
All right. So then the girl says, I'll just paraphrase because I don't remember, but it basically what the conversation was is that, well, we should be up in arms and we should trash the supermarket now because this is racist. Jokingly, she's saying that. She's saying it jokingly in reference to the H&M situation.
She's being sarcastic.
Right. She's a comedian, right? So she's a comedian. So, you know, they tell their jokes.
So that's expected.
Right. That's what she does. Right. So somebody else made another comment about it, and you know, of course, there's a couple, 3 comments there, and the place where I was at during that moment when I read that, probably because I'm writing tonight's show and all this stuff, I'm in a certain mindset. And I don't even remember what I said. I actually had to remove myself from it because I could tell it was going to get heated. Because I know I say certain things sometimes and people take it as...
That's why he says half of the stuff he says, just to elicit a reaction.
It's ammunition, right? I'm like, I'm stoking a fire, baby. So anyway.
Yeah, with fucking gun shows.
Yeah, right. So I don't even remember exactly what it was that I said, but I said, you can't compare, you know, cracker and... you know, the impact of this thing versus the impact of what calling a little black kid monkey is you know, because so I'm sure everybody out there already knows about what took place with the whole H&M thing.
Who gives a fuck?
Why do you say fuck all the time?
Sorry, who gives a bloody
settle
Mary?
down. A lot of people do besides you. So this little black kid's got this t-shirt on that says like coolest monkey in the jungle.
I've seen it.
But there's the little white kid who's got a t-shirt on it in the ad, and his it says Survivor on it, or Jungle Survivalist or something like that, and he's got this, you know, thing. Anyway.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah. So I said, you know, I'm like, you can't expect there not to be some issue when there's historically you're calling black people or considering them as monkeys.
Exactly.
In history, and you can even look at, there's like a picture or something that I found online of I remember what country it is over here, but these kids, they had black kids in a zoo or something, and there's all these white people standing around this picket fence, looking at
how long ago?
It's quite old.
It's not that old though. It's not that old. It's old enough to where it's maybe 70 years ago.
Okay.
It's not that long ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know the authenticity of the picture, but I've seen it a lot, and not just recently. Years I've seen it, so I'm like, that's messed up. So, and when you look at the picture, you absolutely know that there's something not right here. You have a little black girl who's probably about this tall, so she's no more than like 4, and she's in a white picket fenced area, and it's surrounded by white people like looking at her like, ooh, you know, like what's that?
Exactly.
Right, exactly. What's that? So
But 70 years ago, how would people not know? People have traveled fucking the globe.
listen, that gets to my point. So before I get to that point, let me say this. So that's why I was saying you can't compare. You can't even say, and even in jest, because once the comments start popping in. So I said, look, I'm not trying to have an argument with you, but it's just a conversation. I'm just making a comment on it. Feel free to call in, and they haven't called in, so I'm like wanted to talk to them about it. Exactly. So, but the argument is that I'm hearing on some people is that H&M didn't know, and much to like your comment, maybe they just didn't know. So we had someone on the show about a year ago, and she's from Sweden, I think, and she had just come over to England, I think, or maybe she was telling us a story on the show, and she said the N-word and didn't know, and she had no idea like that it was a problem, you know, because of where she was from and how old she was, you know, this was probably, I don't know, 20 years ago or whatever, and her friends were like, whoa, you can't say that. She's like, well, what? You know, but she didn't mean it in a negative connotation, right? So I can, that's why you say, well, how did they know? But, or how did they not know? But a whole marketing department,
precisely.
Somebody knew something.
That's the thing.
Somebody knew something.
That's the thing.
I'll shut up now and let y'all.
Well,
talk.
it's either all right. So it's going to be one of two things. It's either insidious and they've planned it to be exactly what you're saying it is, or it's 2018 and I can see how some people obviously would misinterpret it, but maybe they thought we're past it by now. But maybe that was just a misjudgment on their behalf.
Who would think that we're possibly
exactly,
past that now in this political climate?
They should have at least try to ask somebody, you know.
They do have.
You know, if we do this, we put, you know, a black kid in a sweater that says, you know, coolest monkey in the jungle, whatever it is. How, you know, what do you think people are going to feel?
No, I get that.
And, you know, even,
I do get it.
Yeah, even today, you know, footballers still get, you know, monkey chants. They get bananas
thrown at them.
Who goes to watch the football?
Oh,
They're
shut up.
basically
Football
primitive
is
fucking
football's
cave
the,
people.
but they're
it doesn't
people.
matter, but they're
It's
still
like the lowest.
people. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
irrelevant. Their
Exactly.
station in life means absolutely nothing to this whole equation. They're still people. They're still
This
part
wine is so good, by the
of
way.
the societal construct, and they're throwing bananas. And so we know that there's an issue with monkey. You know, we know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We know that.
Okay.
So there's no arguing that.
So why did they print it anyway? They surely, if they knew what they were doing, then they knew there was going to be repercussions. So in their eyes, is it any marketing is good marketing?
Well, this is pretty heavy though. People are tearing up their stores.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, in South Africa, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
People just literally went on a rampage and destroyed the
Yeah.
damn thing. And I think there was a video I saw, I'm sure it was like in Oxford Street, where these 3 black boys, they went to H&M, bought some stuff, and they came out, you know, behaving like monkeys. I just thought, you know what?
Yeah.
I saw that.
Well, I
They
think
were
people
running
like
around.
that
I saw that.
just stoke the fire, but I don't know how should it have been dealt with. So they release it anyway. How what should have been the response? No response. Is that what they were hoping for? Do they want to elicit a response?
I don't know if it was an oversight or whatever it was, but
I don't think it
clearly-
would be. H&M are massive, like you correctly
but
said,
that's-
global company.
Exactly, that's what you'd sort of like expect, and you expect, you know, before something's actually signed off and approved, somebody with a bit of sense has actually looked at it and thought, okay, this is going to be okay. So if that's the case, then you just think, what the hell were they thinking? Seriously?
Well, there was a point that I saw. So I know Joseph said he's going to counter me on this point.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that the mother of the child signed it off. She was like, "Oh, everyone needs to grow up." Blah blah blah. That's what I saw. So I saw all of this kicking. I saw the riots and stuff in the shops, and then I saw the mums tweeting like, "Everyone's pathetic. You're just blowing this out of proportion." Like he's just a child model wearing a hoodie. So
This is what I feel
I
about
don't know.
that. This is what I feel about that.
Yeah, what do you feel? I'm interested because I sort of get where she's coming from as well. But then at the same time,
She's only saying that because she don't want to mess up the money. She's getting a check for her kid being in these ads with H&M. She's done it, but I think he's done more ads with them before or something like that. If you're causing trouble, this market that we're in is very small. This industry.
Exactly.
It's very easy for somebody to say, "Oh, you don't want to work with it," especially now. This kid's causing trouble. You know, she don't want to mess up that check.
What about P Diddy and people like that saying we're going to give this kid X, Y, and Z, and now the kid's actually balling? Could it have been a play by the mother? Could it have been her?
Well, could have been a play by the mother. She didn't have anything.
She
to do with any of
anticipated
it.
there'd be a blowback in the internet age of racism, and she was like, publicity. And now P Diddy are knocking on the door and saying we're going to
So
give
are you
this kid
saying it's
X, Y, Z
conspiracy?
million.
Then is that what you're
Maybe
saying?
maybe she's playing chess and we're playing checkers.
We'll have to look into
Like,
that.
you know, she's
I don't
like,
know.
yeah, no, it'll be okay. Yeah, let my kid wear that jump. You know,
Yeah, she was like, in her back of her mind, she's like, of course it'll be fine. She's like,
He can
yeah.
wear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Maybe she was the one that picked it up. He was going to wear the blue one, like you said.
She's not that clever.
Wow.
I've seen
Okay, fine.
I've seen the interviews. No.
Okay.
No.
I haven't
She-
seen the interviews. I've read the text message she sent. I
Yeah,
haven't
same
read-
difference. She is not. No, she's not thinking
I haven't
that
heard her
that
speak.
gangster on
Her
that level.
eloquent- Okay, fine.
She's not thinking.
She's not mastermind yet. Okay,
No,
fine.
she's not thinking on that level. She was like, "Oh man, I wish I had a thought about that." What's up with the flag, Mr. Lorraine? What's up?
Yeah,
Tell us
Mr.
about the
Lorraine
flag.
is representing my country. You know what Donald Trump said about Africa. So, you know, I just thought, you know, I'd come and, you know, proudly wear my flag. I don't really give a damn what Donald Trump has to say. You know what I'm saying?
What flag is that? What
I'm
country?
from Zimbabwe.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's where I'm from. And living in England, I'm here to stay.
Yeah, so shithole countries. I heard the first time I heard that was I was in the airport. I was coming home, and from Italy. We were in the
Just
in
the last time.
Yeah, in the lobby, and or the lounge, not the lobby, the lounge, and I'm sat there, and I'm watching TV, and I'm seeing shithole on TV flash
I know,
across the
yeah,
screen,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
heard
yeah.
it like 3,000. I heard shithole more in that 1 hour that I watched TV than I heard in my whole life.
Exactly.
Cumulative.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Crazy. And
Madness.
when you're the president of the United States, you usually have a bit more of a bit of decorum. You know,
Precisely.
you're not. If you're the president, you're not calling countries shithole countries and grabbing
Exactly,
women
yeah.
and whatnot. So.
I think we just have to accept that, you know, America's got a special president at the moment, and, you know, anything goes. So I think anytime when he doesn't have a speech written for him, you know, something that's pre-planned, when he's supposed to just say something, you know, just like that, whatever comes from his mouth is going to be...
The thing that I
know,
find a little bit worrying, and I didn't really care too much initially about the whole Donald Trump thing, because I just thought it was a bit of a laugh. I was like, this guy's a bit of a legend. He just cracks up, blah blah blah. But I remember a few years ago, Joseph, when we did a show and we were talking about how every generation, in say like a genre of music or I don't know, I think we were talking about like punk rockers or whatever, or like
Yeah.
adolescents, generation by generation, like decade by decade, has to one up the previous.
Yeah.
So if you relay that back, so we've had, well, America have had Obama into Trump, and Trump's in what's the permanent year, like term that he has to serve? Is it 4 years in America or 2 years?
4 years.
4 years,
President's
right. So
4
yeah,
years.
so it's
Right.
4 years. So in those 4 years, that's a lot of time for people to get used to fucking crazy shit that a president of a superpower is doing. So the next person, how crazy can he get away with being if you're comparing him to Donald Trump, which is the previous president?
I don't think he'll have. I
No,
don't
the
think
next
he's-
person cannot be crazy.
No.
Cannot be like
No,
that.
but he won't be, or she.
So the pendulum swings from one way all the way to the next, and then we've got the opposite end, some crazy.
Well, I don't
person
think you're
of
going to
the
have
other
a
side.
crazy
Do we not
person
think-
on the left, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Donald
No?
Trump was put into this position just to she's callers on. We just have to finish up this bit. I think I never think that any president's elected in the first place. They're always selected.
Selected.
They're placed in the
Selected,
office.
yeah.
I think Barack Obama was groomed for years
In
to
Chicago,
be put into
and,
the
we know about
office.
that shit,
And black people thought he was going to come in and he was going to be Martin Luther King. And then there's highest unemployment and all these problems. There's things that he did that were good. I'm not discounting that, but
he got the ball rolling on,
right, so-
on surveillance and
there's things, but with regards to like Trump, he's so nuts. I think that they know that they had to put somebody in there so insane so that they can implement all this nonsense policy. So once he's gone, then it was Trump. It was Trump that did all this.
Scapegoat.
Right?
That's-
He can get away with that because he's crazy, or he's acting in that fashion.
So that's the play,
Right. So
okay,
they can
cool.
do whatever they want, and the next person will come in and still be doing stuff that 8 years ago you would have thought of as unheard of, but because of Trump.
So that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Because they're comparing it to how
Exactly.
bad. It doesn't seem that bad anymore. Oh, it was Trump. It's like, okay.
It's anything
So-
better than Trump.
Let's get this caller in. We got so she's in Baltimore, Maryland, in the United States. And earlier, before you called in, we were talking about the kid with the H&M shirt. I don't know at what point we brought you in. Do you have an opinion on that?
Right.
Go for it.
Well, there's two sides to every story, and I'm a free spirit. I understand a lot of different things and issues, and I can see different viewpoints. So the mother, from what I understand, had no issue or concern with it, and was trying to figure out why everyone was angry. Well, we know why everyone was angry, and folks have a right to be angry. However, the mother's situation and whatever they were going through, she felt it was okay, and that is her right, to be honest. However, H&M, in my opinion, did they know what they were doing? Who was who was at the table when these decisions were being made?
Right.
Are they sensitive to these cultural issues? Because if you go to another country, shouldn't you be aware of what their sensitivities or what their culture is? So maybe they don't have the right people at their advertising table. Why would they make this type of decision?
Yeah, they definitely were all on the same page. They had to have been, because they had that many people sat around the editor, the everybody.
Was it a global campaign, or was it in America? It was global, wasn't it?
I would assume that,
because H&M, surely they have like a .com and a .co.uk.
Yeah. I would assume that the shirts are gone now.
Yeah.
Kind of in some.
Yeah, I think it was global, because
Right.
I understand. I have a feeling it was global, because I just read today that there was major protests in South Africa, and some H&M stores had to close behind it.
Well, I just thought that was just because it's the internet now. So if it popped up on the internet first, but the origin of the country may have been.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but I don't think that people in Africa really, and you can attest to this, Mr. Lorraine, because you are people from Africa. I am as what we would be considered raised in captivity. Okay, I'm from America. All right, I'm not from Africa, so I can't speak on behalf of Africans. But in my opinion, if something like this happened in the United States, which it obviously did, and not in Africa or African countries, would Africans really take that much of an exception to what was going on with these shirts to be rioting and whatnot?
Well,
Right.
I suppose because H&M is like global,
Yeah.
So
So
that
everywhere, yeah.
wherever it happened, it doesn't really matter. But we've got H&M now in South Africa, so basically they're saying, coolest monkey in the jungle to every black kid. That's how they've probably taken it.
Yeah,
so.
no, I get that, but I mean, like the people, the citizens of Africa,
Yeah.
the people that are out there busting shit up,
Yeah.
would they care if it wasn't a T-shirt that was sold or marketed in Africa? So,
Right,
just to,
and that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, this is just to Valentine's point that he said that the shirt, you said the shirt was marketed globally, right?
Yeah.
Or you,
Well,
you,
no,
you
I was
asked,
asking,
you
yeah, I was
asked,
asking,
you
was
were,
it,
you were
or was
asking
it
if it was
specific
marketed
to a
globally.
country, yeah.
So I'm asking you that, do you think that if it wasn't, because I don't know if it was or wasn't, but
Yeah.
we're assuming it was due
Yeah.
to the impact of the nature of the situation. if it wasn't, would they be still
in
as
South Africa.
equally
Yeah,
upset?
they'll still be. Yeah, still.
You think
be.
so?
Yeah, because I think obviously these days news travels fast, and
Very fast, yeah.
if one black kid wherever they are is treated a certain way, then personally, even if I'm in Africa, I would kind of feel it as well. So
Nobody tore anything up when Dunkin' Donuts had that black faced woman on their commercial, or it was a print ad a few years ago. Are you familiar with this at all, Nija? Did you see that?
No, I'm definitely not familiar. I mean, the latest one before this H&M was the Dove. That was it.
Yeah, right. That was the
I
next
wasn't
one.
familiar with
That was
Dunkin' Donuts.
that was the next one that I was
let
thinking
me add something. Right, but for the H&M issue,
shit.
they did hire a diversity person on their team, which kind of probably means that they probably didn't think they were doing any harm. I mean,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't know if you were on the line when we were talking about this, but we had a girl that was on the show, and she didn't know. She was from Sweden, and she didn't know that to say like the N-word was something that was going to cause a problem when she came over to this part of the world. I'm sending you this picture that we were talking about with the Dunkin' Donuts. So are you familiar with the Dove campaign, Valentine?
How recent is the Dove campaign?
It's a few months ago, but it was
that was in a couple of months ago.
Yeah, just
in
a
the
couple
summer.
of months ago.
Yeah, I think it was during the summer. But they only showed the first two parts of it. They didn't show the three parts where it transitioned from the white woman to the black woman to the Latina woman. They just focused on the two transitions from the black to the white. That's what it was. The black woman to the white woman, then not to the trans.
Oh,
the
was
Latina.
it
So that
was
was
it
the
to
part
the
that was
effect
missing
of?
out.
Yeah, if you're
Was it just to the effect of
black
like?
and if you wash with Dove, you turn white.
Oh,
Yeah.
No,
So
I don't-
you've got this black girl with a brown, the black shirt on, and she takes the shirt off, and then she turns white into a white girl. See, I'm looking at the commercial now with the Mexican or Hispanic girl.
Oh, I see this Dunkin' Donut commercial. No, I've never seen this.
I've never
before.
seen the
Yeah,
Dove
this
one
would
either.
probably
Whoa,
be
yeah.
It'd probably be an issue. I don't even think this is a U.S. ad. I mean,
That
because
is.
it's in another
That-
language. I don't
that-
even
that-
think
that-
it would be
it-
approved
Yeah,
for the
Dunkin'
U.S.
Donuts is only
Yeah.
in the US. I don't think they do it anywhere else, do they?
No, Dunkin' Donuts are all over the place.
Oh,
There's
fair
Dunkin' Donuts in Spain.
Is
For
it?
sure.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a global
Oh,
franchise.
fair. My
Yeah,
bad.
this
He's like, yeah, you big dummy. He's young, Nigel. He doesn't know any better.
He needs some milk.
I just know Krispy
You
Kreme.
have to excuse
okay.
him. Yeah, he comes from that new school donut generation that doesn't
Donuts.
really know anything about that kind of stuff. So, so I was.
This wouldn't go over well.
Yeah, okay, so
I'm saying this ad would not go over well in the U.S.
I found that.
I'd agree on that.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it might not have been in the U.S., but I thought for sure that I saw it in the U.S. But at any rate, I was making sure that people weren't. No, it's not. It's not. It's definitely not in the U.S. But yeah, I posted it because somebody shared it with me. It's a bit crazy, but yeah, nobody saw it. Nobody made a big deal.
Yeah,
about
no, I actually haven't seen that.
Yeah. So what do we think that is the problem then? Why are we experiencing things like this, things like Dove, things like H&M?
Some folks, I think some organizations, countries, companies are still in the minstrel age. To be honest with you, they're still in that. When we used to watch TV and the blackface and all the the bamboozle type of issues. If you've seen the movie Bamboozle,
You call
I really
those
think that
gollywops
they're.
here.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Like the 60s.
Well,
Right, a little before
there's some people, some
50s.
folks' minds are still stuck in that day and age where this is acceptable and it's not. We have progressed. We're still trying to progress and fight for civil rights and equality. I don't even know why we're still fighting for it. I mean, people just need.
Maybe
to
the
accept
problem is
the
the
fact
people
that
are just.
here.
Yeah.
The problem is the people those people might still be around. I mean, once they die out, surely their old-fashioned views will die out as well with them.
But they instill, they instill their ideologies into other people.
These are learned behaviors.
Right.
These are learned behaviors.
Absolutely,
Anything like racism is a learned behavior.
100%.
You learn it from your parents and your grandparents.
And your upbringing as well, yeah.
Right.
100%.
So in all reality, it kind of can never die.
Exactly. I mean, I had a situation like my son was playing football. Like he was the only black kid, and he was playing against a school that had only white kids. So they were like, watch Tyrone, watch Tyrone. His name is not even Tyrone. So initially I was sort of like dismissing. I thought, no, they didn't know what your name is because his name is Tatenda. But then I just realized that Tyrone is the name that you use for the random black person. So it's like obviously these white kids have been taught by somebody that if you've got the random black person that you can't be bothered to find out who they're called, what their name is.
We do it too.
They're just called Tyrone.
We do it too. We call the white. We may call a white girl Becky. So we do it too. But it is still learned behavior.
It is learned behavior.
Right. The whole H&M thing, I'm done with it. I'm sad that they're tearing up the place, because I don't like to see that because it's not going to benefit anything for them doing that. I think that people now in 2018, people are just too woke. I think everybody is just too woke. Everybody needs to take a nap. There's just too much information out there, and just people need to just chill out. I think it's just too much going on. Everyone's a social justice warrior, and as soon as somebody says something online, because we have the internet.
Responses.
The internet is a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword.
You have an audience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365.
Precisely. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So whether or not you're saying anything of any value, because I know lots of time I'm probably on here and did I pull something out?
Yes.
And it's that, sorry.
That's better.
And I'm talking rubbish, but some people still listen. But if you don't like what I have to hear, you just turn it off. But a lot of times it's combative. People are just saying things just to get people worked up, and it's causing problems, I think.
Well, people like that. Some people like conflict. I'm all about you can be righteous and woke, all that's great, but or conscious and woke, all that's great, but are you righteous? Are you doing the right thing? What are you doing to solve the issues? How are you contributing? Are you stepping outside of your door and actually being active in whatever it is? Is it economic issues? Or whatever, is it a hunger issue, homeless issue? You can talk about it on Facebook all day, but what are you doing about it?
But that's the thing with the internet. Everyone has their opinions of what they would do, but as soon as they close their laptop or they turn off their PC or they lock their phone and put it back in their pocket and go back to their day-to-day lives, that's not them.
Exactly.
They're not building wells. They're not looking for water. They're not building solar panels. They're not helping with charity work. But they're talking a big game.
Yeah,
but that's
well,
what
everybody wants to seem as though that they are,
and that's just the ego,
righteous, like
righteousness.
But that's why they call it Facebook.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. That's why they call it Facebook, so you can have your own soapbox.
The spell is in the spelling.
I see. I always thought Facebook was just some CIA thing. It's just a little.
There was a thing I saw Mark Zuckerberg when he first made Facebook with the first 4,000 accounts. All the information that he had that people had given him, he gave to his friends. He was like, "You wouldn't believe what these idiots trust me with all their data." He said that at 4,000 sign up people. So
hundreds of millions now, right?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, when people get uncomfortable, they feel the need to attack. And I think that that's why we have a lot of the issues that we have now. And Donald Trump saying, why do these people from these shithole countries want to come here? If you live somewhere and your house is not nice, don't you want to try and move to a nicer house? I'm moving to a nicer house.
Yeah.
If my car is raggedy, I'm trying to get a better car. If your restaurant is no good, but your restaurant is good, I'm not eating at your restaurant.
And if you think historically, how did white people end up in America? They were moving to a land of opportunity, so they all got on ships and whatever from all those
left
places.
their shithole countries.
And then went to America. So at the end of the day, everyone is trying to better themselves, like what you're saying. If things are not working where you are, you're just going to find
just
a way
the law of nature,
to make
isn't
yourself,
it?
better. And if there's an opportunity, you're going to take it. And I suppose what he forgets is, you know, what do people actually go to America and do? Most people, you know, they're out there trying to work, trying to make money for their families, trying to feed their families. They're not necessarily, you know, out there trying to cause trouble.
I think when people say, "Oh, does he think this? Does he think that?" I think the only thing he's doing, he's got a massive wooden spoon over a cauldron, and all he's doing is stirring shit up. I think that's his. I think that's his purpose.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying, "What does he mean by this? Do you think he means X, Y?" No, I think all he's doing is just causing drama, and people are tuning in and missing the important stuff, which is like the bills, like you were saying, all the stuff that's being passed in the background to all the bullshit that he's saying on Twitter and whatever.
Yeah, just because you're not aware of something is. You know, just because you're not aware of something doesn't mean that it's not happening. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy to even think about that. Like this whole Trump thing. You know, I think the Trump thing. It's kind of.
Well, he's making his own reality TV show. Has anybody even thought of it like that? This is a big reality TV show.
Yeah, he's making business contacts while he's actually still in the office. So that's another thing that you have to consider too. And you were talking about earlier about how he's just so extreme, you know, he's in there and he can act the fool, but at the end of the day, in 4 years or however long he's in there, 2 years if he gets impeached, 8 years if he gets reelected, he's still Donald Trump of Donald J. Trump Enterprises when he leaves the office, right?
Yeah,
so he's still a billionaire when he leaves. And all these people that he's made, you know, director of this and, you know, foreign liaison to this and so on, and they're going to be hooking him up.
Going to have his back.
Right. He doesn't care about what he's doing.
Yeah, he's got
just
fuck
in
you
there,
money, yeah.
you know, just like a child.
Just a game.
Running around like an idiot.
Right.
You know, so whatever.
But had it been Obama, if had it been Obama doing the same things, he probably would have been impeached, and that's the difference.
Yeah,
I mean, Obama dropped more bombs than George Bush did, didn't he? In terms of like drone strikes and stuff like that. So everyone likes to say Obama was fantastic and stuff. He was quite like a celebrity president in the sense that I know a lot of people that didn't really understand his policies or what he was doing. They were like, "We love Obama. He's the guy that comes in on a skateboard." And high fives everyone, like, wow, how cool. It's like, yeah, but he's killing innocent people and
all
children.
presidents are killing innocent people and
But
children.
who started this whole war with the East anyway? It was George Bush and co. So at the end of the day, you know, he inherited what he inherited and was already, you know.
Just made it
we
twice as
we
bad.
have to
Low
stop
amount of
placing
proportion.
blame on previous administrations, and that's that gets you nowhere
Yeah.
because you can't keep blaming somebody else. Because when Obama came into the office, it was Bush's fault.
So it just seems. So it just seems like it just seems like
Politics, you have to blame
an
someone.
archaic system. You have in America. Obviously, I'm not American, but you have 350 plus million in terms of population. To have one alpha male, if you will, if you look at it in the sort of way of looking at things and community, he's in charge of way too many people for one person to be delegated and be in charge of. I think you need to change the whole system entirely and have people that are in charge of maybe state by state that all work towards a shared goal or a shared sort of set of values. But that's way too many people for one single individual just to make up everyone's mind for and say yes or no, we're going to blow shit up. It's like that's just way too much responsibility.
I agree.
For one person.
I agree
Times have changed. The population of the world is almost 8 billion.
7.6.
But it's close.
Yeah.
And it's rising crazy. Yeah. So I think having one king alpha or one silverback gorilla, if you want, king of the jungle for that part of land is outdated. There's too many people. You need to have smaller communities that govern themselves and do it successfully, because that's more or less how humans were intended.
Yeah,
we're a tribe of a couple of hundred,
are greedy,
not
though.
million.
People are greedy, so you can't have just I own this 8,000 acres and everybody's cool with that.
Exactly.
Because that's how it was back in the earlier days. Real quick, Nigel, you and Mr. Lorraine here both do TED Talks. She did a TED Talk. Was it last night?
No, I'm doing it tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm having
Oh,
problems
nice,
with
nice.
my interface.
Stop touching it. It's fine when you're not touching
her.
it.
Hold on. Sorry, I can't because there's a
I can
short-
hear her. We can.
Can you hear her?
I can
Loud
hear her.
and
Yeah.
clear.
I can't hear anything.
It's when you touch it, then I
I
can't
know,
hear
but
shit.
I'm trying. I don't know. It's my headphones.
I'm fine.
Anyway,
I can
so
hear
I
you
can't hear you.
clearly.
If
I
you're
can hear everyone. I can hear
I mean-
everyone.
okay, cool. I can barely hear you. It's probably my headset. Anyway, oh, there it is. There it
Mine's
is.
fine.
It was my headphone. I pulled the plug. Sorry, I'm an idiot. This is why I don't drink on air, and I haven't had anything to drink.
So no excuses.
I know I suck. So, TED Talks. You've got one on Saturday.
Yeah, I got one tomorrow in Kingston Rose Theatre. Sold out, so yeah, we're expecting
Oh,
about
wow.
900 people.
Oh, wow.
Which
Nice.
is
Congratulations.
good. Yeah, thanks.
You've done TED as well, Nigel?
TEDx.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's TEDx.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, so I'm just.
So
trying
it's
to-
like a.
Yeah, it's
not-
different.
Yeah, it's
TED
different.
is the big dog.
Yeah.
TED is the big dog. TEDx is more of individual
Like a
licensing.
local little
I
thing.
haven't
Yeah,
been
yeah.
TED. I haven't even TEDx.
Speak.
Yeah.
I haven't
You haven't
TED,
even TEDx.
I haven't
yeah.
TED anything, so you guys are up on the game. That's legit.
No, they're good. They're really, really good. Because I think the main thing about them is just trying to. So if you actually apply to, to talk, you need to have something that's going to leave people. People have to leave with something. So it's not all about you just coming and talking about yourself and this is what I'm doing, blah blah blah.
right.
You have to give something to the audience, so the audience have to leave with something from what
Well,
you're
they've learned.
saying.
Yeah, that's the
so
idea.
even like for me, even though I'm
Right,
talking about
exactly.
myself as Mr. Lorraine, so my talk is just about my voice and how people mistake me for a man when I speak. But then the theme about it is, why do we make assumptions about people? So, I've had the phone slammed on me and I'm told, yes, you are a man because like you sound like one, or you are Lorraine and you sound like a man, so you must be transgender, or I'm gay, all those sort of things, So people will make those assumptions. They will make decisions based on those assumptions, and we just, do whatever we do to people, and when we move on with their with our lives. But at the end of the day, whatever you do or say to people may have a negative impact on them. You've moved on, but they're just staying behind all that negativity. So it's just really, for me, why do we make assumptions about people? So just think a little bit more about what we say to people, what we do, that sort of thing. And that's what it's about. So even though I talk about myself, but them try and kind of give a theme to and leave
Right.
people with something.
Well, my TED Talk, I just wanted to address the issue that people always have an excuse about, if you're coming from a certain environment. So take myself, single mom, lower income, growing up in poverty in the projects, that you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to be a statistics. And
Yeah,
it's not true, because I demonstrated how I was able to come up out of that, even at the age of 9, encouraging my mom to get a full-time job. So it doesn't matter the environment, it's your circle of influence, and you're able to pull yourself out of that. There's really no excuse. You have to want to do it, and you have to surround yourself with those influences to get it done.
You have to first be aware. Awareness, I think, is the first thing of your situation.
Aware, exactly.
And then if you're aware,
Exactly.
then you're like,
That's the
okay,
concept.
do I stay here or do I make a change? But I know people that aren't
Right.
aware. They don't realize what they're doing is self-destructive. They don't realize what they're doing isn't going to benefit them in the long run. So you can't help those people by give them creative sort of ideas of how they should change their lives dramatically, because in their eyes, they're fine. They're doing fine. What's wrong with what they're doing? You have to. I think awareness is where it
That's
starts.
true.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
They're so comfortable. They're so comfortable with it that they don't want to step outside that comfort zone and look at the entire. There's people. I'm in Baltimore. There's people that haven't even been to the West Side or East Side. It's that kind of nonsense that goes on. I'm not going to the West Side. I'm like, it's literally over there. Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know lots of people that haven't even left their own state before, let alone like their town. But,
Whoa.
yeah, I could never have lived like that, and I don't know.
Or like those people that work the same supermarket jobs for 20 plus years in the same position. They don't work up. They stay in the same.
Sometimes that's just because they have special needs, bro. So
Well,
I can't, 'cause
but-
I-
Well,
I-
not,
'cause I-
not
really.
wanting to be,
Not
or
everyone.
not wanting to be exposed to other cultures and fear that that culture may influence your current culture. Yeah, I appreciate all diversity in cultures, but there's some people, they don't want any part of it. They stay in their community. This is what we do in our community, and we're not stepping outside to meet anyone that's different.
Yeah, you got to come out of that comfort zone every now and then, or else you're screwed. So, you were talking about making assumptions.
Yeah.
We were watching. What were you showing me earlier on Snapchat?
Titties.
Showing this woman, right, who was, her face was all
Snapchat filtered.
You could, yeah, when you looked at her face, you could tell it wasn't what her face really looked like.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking.
Titties.
That's not what I was thinking. Will you shut up? He's like 5, right? What it would be like to, because when you're with someone, you assume that that's what they look like.
Yeah.
Right? Like you said, making assumptions. There's this guy, I was reading this article, this guy in Japan, I think, has, a wife. He gets married to this woman, real pretty woman. But he didn't know she had all this plastic surgery on her face, right?
Whoa.
No idea.
Oh, and they have a child,
They
and then
had
he
a
takes her to
kid.
court, and he sues.
Because she had a little boogaboo baby. Came out and it was like,
Deformed
it was an
almost.
ugly kid,
Yeah, ugly kid,
and
let's say that.
she was beautiful, and he's like, that ain't my baby. So you assume,
That's terrible.
That is
How
terrible,
do you define
yeah,
it
it's
ugly?
terrible.
What did the baby look like? How do you
Babies are
define
beautiful.
ugly? What did the baby look like?
he pulled out a dictionary and said, this is the definition right here. See this? That's that baby. I want, something's not right.
No,
So-
I think he's not right,
That's
man.
terrible.
No, he's not right. But at the same time, you do have a reasonable expectation of information to come from the other side to know that, hey, these aren't my lips.
Has to be a reciprocal sort of
This
exchange,
ain't my
doesn't it?
nose.
50-50. You
I
know
used
what's
to
on
have
either
this
side of the
jacked up
fence.
nose. That
Well, those confessions.
Well, how
will
does he
lead
know that baby
elsewhere.
that baby just didn't come from a different generation? So sometimes you have a baby and it's representing someone that's far down the ancestral
see,
line. Like, how does he know?
Huh?
sweetheart, they don't think that like that over in Japan, or where was it, Japan? Or
recessive
China?
genes.
Yeah, no, because it's not like because you can have like a black kid, 2 black people can have like a baby that's not black, like that one in
Albino,
Right.
right, no,
Right.
they would just commit harakiri and pull out a sword and just, they wouldn't tolerate that. They wouldn't accept
That's
it.
crazy.
Because I saw in a video on
That's
Russia.
happened before, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, of course. I was watching something on Russia today, and there's like this huge albino population in Africa, this certain country, I don't remember which one it was, and they're like outcast. Like
Yes.
they can't work, and they're like all staying at this one area because they're being taken care of. So, it's just, I don't think
Wow.
they would accept
They're in
it.
Africa, and don't they get like really bad sunburn as well? Like that doesn't.
Yeah,
help.
no, they couldn't be out in the sun. Couldn't
So,
be-
No,
it's-
no, like,
so
even
it just sucks. Yeah.
But
like,
what
horrible.
I need to. I always want to understand what is the fear of that. Okay, they're out. They have this skin color or hair
Yeah, but
color.
you have
whatever.
to
What
you
is
have to
the
bear in
problem?
mind the problem is that it's abnormality. So they still have like witch
Yeah.
doctors and whatnot over in certain parts of the
and
the world.
like,
So
it's like in some countries they think if you're albino, they kill you and take your parts, then it's,
yes, they were cutting their hands
they
off.
use that
Yeah.
for witchcraft. Which
No.
is terrible.
Yeah.
So in the end, like the albino population has to be kind of protected.
Yeah.
Because
Like an
purely
endangered
of that.
species.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
crazy, man.
days.
It is terrible.
We can
People
conversate.
just
We
do
can conversate about this
crazy
stuff all
things.
day. We think
Ah.
it's
Yeah, no, see
what is normal? What is normal?
nothing is
What is
normal.
That is
How do we
normal, yeah,
define
nothing.
normal?
Yeah.
You can't really, can you? Because it's all relative. It's nothing's,
I mean, even back in the day, if
It
you had
reminds me of
twins.
this episode. It reminds me of this episode outside of the new Twilight Zone where everything was reversed. So there was a planet of we would assume would be black folks, and they had the black features, and we were the beautiful people. We are the beautiful people. But in this episode, that was that resonated, and the abnormal folks was the white people with their features. And you didn't know this until the end of the episode. And the question was, what would it be like if it were that way? So how do we define what's normal? Because what Europe said is normal? Or where does this come from?
Yeah, Valentine, where does this come from? You're European and white.
Yeah.
Shit. You know, cracker-ass cracker. You probably like cheese on your cracker, too. You know.
I don't like crackers, but I like
Cracker
cheese.
ass
So I can only account for 50% of that statement.
You can have a lot of topics, but every time I look at a slave movie, I always ask, if we were that ugly, why were the white men raping the black woman? If we had to, what was that about?
I don't know.
Had to be turning them on some way.
So racism is
You
a
see what I'm
surface
saying? Like,
is a
what
surface
is
level
that
issue,
about?
but deep down, everyone knows where people deep down. But racism is a surfacing. I'm going to be racist because my buddies are racist.
I don't
but
know about
deep,
all that.
But deep down, I don't give a fuck.
Right. Well, we're all black when the lights go out. That's all I got to say about that. That's what's up. So I want to thank our caller for calling in. We're ending the show on that note. Everybody's laughing. I win. Yes. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hit us up on v3tv.uk if you have any questions or comments or concerns about what you may have seen here tonight.
If it concerns you.
Why do you always have to say stuff like that I got to beat out? We're trying to get the money. I don't even have a sponsor. Can't have a sponsor. I normally have sponsor
We've
here
got Molbeck,
because you're on the show
Vino.
tonight, because I know that they're going to say pull our ads from that stuff whenever that guy with that green sweater's on. Thanks to the caller. Thanks to the viewers. We'll see you guys next time on the show. Thanks to my co-hosts over here who aren't on camera, but they're waving anyway.
Yep.
There they are. Mr. Lorraine.
Thank you.
Mr. Valentine. And our caller, Nigel from Maryland. And we'll see you guys when we see you. Peace.
Thank
See
you.
you. Pete, see ya.
So excuse me, but I gotta ask, well, who is that? Who is that? Hey, you look me down, you look me up, but try